For today's Cyber CEO episode,
the relationship that she's building with the team, she's actually been support to my admin, and she always aims to please. She works very hard, and I just feel that from her. So that's what I think of. I just think that she's one of my kidlets.
welcome to Cyber CEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. Cyber CEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. Another awesome day here at Cyberbacker. My name is Jello. We're back with another episode of Cyber CEO. And of course, we have a very special guest on the show. Cher, how are you doing today?
Just fine, thanks. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you very much for asking. And of course, for dropping by. I know you have a lot of things to do. Really appreciate you being on the show. Now, to start things off, to let you know, we have a lot of listeners who are business owners just like yourself. So I need your help. Can you introduce yourself to our audience? Maybe we can start with something like, what's your role in the business, Cher?
I'm a realtor for the last 37 years, and I've owned my own companies. I've worked for not very many brokers because I'm not a person that changes around a lot. And I've been with Keller Williams for about 4 years, and that's where I was introduced to Cyberbacker.
Ooh, okay. So a lot of experience in the real estate world for you. How about working with someone virtual, just like now with Cyberbacker? Is this your first time?
It's the first time that I was working virtually with someone that was helping me. I tend to be the one I'm on a lot of times virtually teaching and training.
Okay, but really the first go at it with someone supporting you then?
Yes,
all right.
First go.
All right. Now, was it a big change for you? Because I know for a fact in the real estate world, we're kind of used to working with people that we can meet. Now, everything's going virtual. So how was the transition?
It's actually made me a lot more disciplined, because in order to work with a cyberbacker, in order for me to work with 𝗙𝗻𝗃, I have had to and still have to make sure that I am, in contact with her on a daily basis, because she's truly still in the training process. So it's been a case like that. I have got to be I've got to go to work every day. I can't be as my time is my own as I might have been prior to that.
Of course. And again, I like what you mentioned earlier. Really, the engagement with your cyberbacker is very important. I think in any kind of partnership, engagement is very important. Yeah.
Yes. Very important. You have to.
Now, talk to me more about your experience with Cyberbacker. Then first, one of the first things that you had to go through was the hiring process. So how did that experience go? Going through interviews through Zoom?
Yeah. I had to say that it was way more fast-paced than I am comfortable with. And when I did finally, I went in the same, along with the guidance that I got from Cyberbacker. I stayed within their system and their time frame, and it was really interesting seeing all the different people and listening to their pitches, and then trying to narrow it down to someone that I felt like I want to. Engage in and teach and get them on board to help us. So it was definitely a different experience than I've ever had before.
A different experience. Now, you already mentioned your cyberbacker, 𝗙𝗃. How did you make the final decision that she was the perfect fit for your business?
Well, I got to say, because she was young, I liked her values when it came to her family. Her love for animals. She owns a lot of cats and dogs, and I've always,
wow.
I've had I know that the thing is though, you can see what their skill set is. You get a preview of that, so you know what they're proficient in, and then when you find out about some of their other experiences, like for her, she had started a business, and during the during COVID, she was able to develop a side business using social media. So social media is something that I'm very familiar with, but I don't have the time to, to be as disciplined with that as I'd like to be. So that was another thing I felt that would be wonderful if I had somebody. But of course, in the beginning, it takes time to make sure that they understand your voice so that when they're posting or interacting with new people, they are coming across to those people in your voice. So those were some of the things. And I feel that, one of her goals is someday to own a big sanctuary. I may not have that exactly right, but 𝗦liche wants to have a business, a side business, where she can actually take in animals, dogs, cats, be a refuge. So for me, that spoke to my heart, and that's how I chose her. It may not be the way other people choose, but that's how I chose her.
So that there was just a connection between the both of you then, basically.
That's a connection, yeah. It's a connection.
Now, let's talk more about 𝗦liche, your cyberbacker. What are the tasks you leverage off to her then?
Well, to start with, I took advantage of the fact that Cyberbacker teaches the command. I have bought all into command since 2018 when it was first launched, and it's important to me that we are. I'm a team player. I know that everything has its time where it has to. They got to develop and grow, and you have to get through glitches, and you got to make improvements, and you have to be patient with that sort of thing. Well, at least the contacts part was this is our database, and my database was fairly large for someone in my area, which is I have about 5,000 people in my database, which in our small area, that's pretty substantial. And I needed some help there to get that in order, like proper tags. I needed to get rid of duplicates, and which you just can't easily do with command. So that was where I first engaged her, and she did really well there. And now I'm in I don't know how far you want me to go with this explanation, yeah. But now it's okay. It's learning the voice on social media. It's learning to create. She was hired initially to be transaction coordinator, transaction management, because that's another thing that really is it's a time suck. And there's a lot of things that can be taken care of by an administrator that does not have to be me. There are things I have to be the one that takes care of them, but there's things that she can do. And having an admin, having 𝗦liche help me, it's been, she's learning it, and eventually it'll be, I know it's going to work out to be something that's going to be seamless. So transaction management, social media, contact management, those were the three things that why she's on board with me now to do. Those are her jobs to learn.
Three main tasks then that you have her do. Now, we already mentioned the connection. We already talked about that a bit earlier, the connection that you have with 𝗦liche, your cyberbacker. But of course, it always doesn't start this way. Like you have a connection with someone. So what I'm curious to know about is, how do you think a virtual partnership just like this with your cyberbacker can become successful? Because for sure, some of our listeners might be going through this, going through it for the first time too, just like you.
So first of all, I think that as over the last couple of years, 2-3 years, we've all become much more accustomed to having our relationships online. So virtual, it doesn't matter whether you're in your office or you're talking to somebody that's downtown where you could walk to where they are. A lot of times your interaction is virtual. So the next thing is that you've got to have the right tools so that it can feel like you're in the same office. I remember way back in the day when the IMs came in. Well, where you're on AOL and you would use instant messenger, and it was silly. It was so silly. And when texting came about, it was so silly because you'd have a family member up in their bedroom communicating with their mother down in the kitchen via text. So, I mean, it just has become part of our world. So for us, we use, of course, command. We use also Slack, and I'm not trying to promote Slack or anything, but it was pretty new to me when I know everybody used Slack for years, and I heard about it. I heard a lot of the agents talk about it. But for us, it became another way of making it feel like, okay, I'm up in the office and I'm talking to somebody down in the kitchen. Because on Slack, you just jump into a huddle just about any time, and you're talking like this, and you are. I really feel like as long as you've got face-to-face communication, and you can watch their, you can see them and you can feel how they're feeling. It's as close to being real as possible. And then, of course, you use your other tools like, Google Drive and things like that.
So really communication then, the constant communication with your cyberbacker is key to this partnership. Am I right?
Yes, it is. It's absolutely key.
Yes. Now, one last question. For sure, Mitch is going to be able to watch and listen to this once we have this online. So we'd like to know, what do you like most about Mitch, your cyberbacker? What's the first thing that comes to mind when we talk about her?
The relationship that she's building with the team, and how she actually feels like she's one of us. And she's actually been support to my admin. I have a young admin that's been with me for 2 years in the office, and that's Aaron. And Aaron he's young. He's a few years younger than Mitch, but he's been immersed in this business. He's my grandson, so he really didn't have a whole lot of choice in the beginning, but he has the choice to stay, and he chooses to stay, but he wants to grow. So for him, having this experience and being able to interact with Mitch directly, that he's gotten a chance to polish his teaching skills, and she always aims to please. She works very hard, and I just feel that from her. So, I'm hoping that she's never afraid to make a mistake. We put backups in order, so she can learn, because none of us have things flawless. We fail forward. So that's what I think of. I just think that she's one of our she's one of my kidlets. She's one of our team members.
Seems to me like you've already found your perfect cyberbacker in Mitch, obviously, and we are very, very excited to see where this partnership grows to for the next couple of months. Again, Cher, thank you very much for dropping by today. I had fun talking.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have a nice day.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of CyberCEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.